Here we go, match weekend is here. Will United's game even be on against Liverpool? But before that's with the weather being in mind, of course, which is quite nasty over in the northwest of England, so stay safe everybody if you're out there and travelling around this weekend to any football games. More importantly, let's get into Manchester United news to kickstart your weekend, shall we? We've got plenty to get through, including the fallout and proof that what we was told 3 weeks ago about Garnacho is actually true. Romano's come out and had his say, loads of quotes from Romano from last night from his channel regarding Rashford, regarding a lot of Manchester United transfers. Interesting one on Casemiro as well. Juventus now fully on and in for Malacia and Joshua Zirkzee. We're going to touch on all of that. We're going to touch on everything that has gone over, that's gone on overnight as well, and bring up another Manchester United Portuguese 17-year-old target that could be on his way. What was scouted alongside Samu as well over at Porto. Lots of interesting developments around Manchester United's transfer speculation side of things this morning. And again, how important are the younger signings that Manchester United are making? How much of an impact is Diego Leon going to make in the summer? And is that going to stop Manchester United actually going out and buying the expensive option this January? Mendes, like we touched on last night, and everything that's happening with him and his contract situation. PSG standing firm to their price. United are going to have to sell to get the right player that they want in at left wing back. I feel it's going to be one in January that he desperately needs. Diego Leon will cover the rest, and then we'll talk about what happens elsewhere on the pitch, because I think that's that department covered, and that apparently is still a massive priority for Manchester United. It has to be, because we will get into what is going on with Malacia as well in Manchester United. How important losing another left-sided player with no one else left-footed or available for that side. United have to be making moves and doing something, surely. Harry Mas is also going out on loan. What's going on? There has to be something going on. We're going to get into all of it. We're going to put it all together and try and figure out what's happening. Give the video a like before we really kickstart this show. Make sure you have that subscribe button as well, everybody. Get your comments in the live chat. Comment below when the live is finished as well. Don't forget, today we have got debut watch along on Football Talks, Newcastle against Spurs. That game at 12:30 today. Please do jump across. The link will be in the description. I'll also put it into the live chat as well. Want as much of the Red Army, FUTV Army across watching that one on our debut watch along on Football Talks as well later on, please, everyone. That would be great if you could. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend of important games. None more so than United's, obviously, weekends. Who will play? Ruben Amorim was speaking yesterday and talking about how much time he's had with his players, what's been going on at Manchester United, at Carrington, what they've been concentrating on. But we're also going to be waiting for the embargoed version of that press conference to come out as well, because I feel like there's some key questions that were needed to be asked, that might have been asked, that we need the answers to as well. And yeah, I will be tuning in to that when that drops, and I will bring you all the information from it as well. Good to see some familiar faces in here. Is it Andrew's birthday? Is it really your birthday, Andrew? You absolute legend, mate. Happy birthday to you. Hopefully the Reds will make it a happy weekend. Hopefully the Reds are definitely going to give you a performance this weekend to celebrate. But thank you so much for all your support over the last year on Forever United TV as well, mate. And have a fantastic birthday. Please, everybody in the chat, give him a big happy birthday. And also, fourth birthday for Pete, another member of the clan here on FUTV, who's been here for a long time. Happy birthday to your 4-year-old as well. I hope you have a fantastic day. Anyone who is celebrating a birthday, in fact, forget about United. Just concentrate on spending it with family, having a great time. Don't worry, and don't let United stress you out. Easier said than done. I know. And we'll get to United later when it comes to the football side of things. But happy birthday to everybody, anyway, who is celebrating today. First weekend of January as well. Important one for United. But we're starting with the transfer stuff. Not transfer stuff. Starting with Garnacho. And this, remember 3 weeks ago, around about 3 or 4 weeks ago right now, I did a story on Garnacho where I said a source told me in confidence that the issue with Garnacho was his disrespect for manager Ruben Amorim and what went down at a game when he was giving him information on the side of the pitch before we came on. Now, we thought it might have been against Spurs or one of the games. I didn't look back for the footage, but apparently it was clear to see what happened in this footage. And the Daily Mail and Chris Wheeler has come out today and explained what is going on. And I'll just read it out. You can see it's at the tweet at the bottom of your screen as well there. Well, Alejandro Garnacho was dropped from Manchester United for the Manchester derby for a show of dissent versus Victoria Pilsen. So, dissent. Interesting how they've explained that. So he turned his back on Ruben Amorim and walked away while the Manchester United boss was giving him instructions on the touchline before he came on. That, I mean, you don't do that. That sounds strange. That sounds petulant. And if it's true, and like I said, the reason why Garnacho was dropped was this. This was the reason. My guy did tell me that it was because of this and something that happened in a game. And Ruben Amorim was not impressed with what happened with Garnacho on the side of the pitch. Disrespectful. Garnacho's people have come out since then and said that Garnacho's representatives deny that he was being disrespectful and put it down to a misunderstanding. Sources insist there is no rift between the two and Garnacho has not been frozen out. Well, we know he's not been frozen out. He's just not been good enough. That's all it is. So, yes, this is exactly what we want to see at Manchester United. No, it's not the response we wanted to see from Garnacho, because I still think he is I think he's still sulking a little bit. You can tell, like, demeanour and not being in Manchester United starting 11s for a number of games now is showing, really, I think. And you know what? He's going to have to learn very, very quickly, because I've said this before. If he's hoping at moving on to another football club or not happy that he's not getting game time at Manchester United, where else is he going to go that the qualities that he has shown on the pitch going to get him first 11 football? He's lucky to have got the amount of game time that he got last season, and he did well. And if he feels like just because he's had half a decent season and a good spell of games warrants him being in the team every single week, then that is proof that the culture at Manchester United has been completely rotten and is completely upside down. And you know what? This is good, like I said then, for reasons being Ruben Amorim has noticed something. He's noticed something within a player. And I'm sure it would have been obvious. I'm not having the misunderstanding. I think he has just spat his dummy out. I'm glad there is no frozen out or any issue between the two. I don't think there is, because he's been back in at training. He's been back in the matchday squad. So clearly there's no issue there. It's a non-story on that one. The question with Garnacho right now is the question that we've been asking and posing to the chat and everybody who's been watching the show for the last few weeks. If a bid came in, would you accept it? Is Garnacho good enough? That's what we've been talking about. This and the misdemeanours and discontent within him and his relationship around the squad and what Ruben Amorim has been talking about. When Ruben Amorim came out and explained why he dropped Marcus Rashford and Garnacho the first time, the words, and I think everyone remembers it, the way you eat, the way you dress, the way everything, he looks at absolutely everything, like the way that you respect everybody around you, the way that you interact. And there's that word there, interact. Like, if you're not willing to, like he said recently, be a leader, help your teammates on, interact and be fully invested in what is going on and be behind this team, then you are obviously going to fall short of what he wants. And if you are disrespectful or that way to the coach, then you don't stand a bleeding chance. But it does look like, from what's been said, Garnacho has learnt his lesson. He is back in training. He needs to find himself very, very quickly. Ruben Amorim in his press conference, not in his press conference, but his interview with Sky, for some reason Sky are getting a separate interview with Ruben Amorim every time there's a press conference right now. It's like, what is going on? Anyway, he's opened up at Sky and said about Marcus Rashford like he doesn't want to talk about him anymore. He needs to be the very, very, very best of what he is to get back in this side. And he's a squad member of Manchester United. He's not doing it. And quite clearly, again, the second time, like we said last night, he's been ill in the space of 2.5 weeks from that derby drop. Kind of tells you everything. You don't need to read between the lines. It's just smacking you straight in the face with what's happening with Rashford. Slapped ass, dummy is well and truly out. Garnacho has at least said, or has at least had the conversation, or has at least accepted what has happened. We're getting information now, which we knew about at the time, but it's just clarification that the situation did happen. It has been sorted, and Garnacho just needs to knuckle down. Simple as that. It's nothing else. Not a reason why you would want to sell him. it is purely down to, I think, the situation United are in. And unfortunately for Garnacho, he is 100% profit. He does carry a lot of value for Manchester United and will go a long way to actually strengthening the way that Ruben Amorim wants to play. Because like I said, unless he wants to knuckle down and really work hard and get into what Amorim wants, he is going to be that player that's released and money's made for to make something else happen at the football club in terms of bringing in a better option for Ruben. And it's just the way it goes. Unfortunately, his fallout spat, his dipping form has come at the wrong time for him. And it's been highlighted next to the actual main protagonist, who is Marcus Rashford. And he's been tarnished with the same brush. And unfortunately for him, he's having to deal with this now. And he's going to learn a lot in these next few months, I think. And from now until the end of the season, we'll see what Garnacho's made of. Otherwise, I don't think we're going to see him at Manchester United next season. I think he will be sold. Needs must, like I've said, in transfers and everything that's going on at Manchester United right now, Ineos will be into Ruben Amorim and finding out who, like we said yesterday and weeks before, that profile of player that he thinks can work at United and the reports that he is making and compiling on every single player in this squad for Ineos right now. He will be one of them that I think is on that list as like, yes, we can see potential. There is a player there. There is no issue really, but for the situation we're in, he is one that could probably be sold on right now. Big Sports Direct gulp of coffee right there. Second one of the day. Up bright and early. Saturday mornings, eh? I'm just waiting for this onslaught of weather to come. But yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this quickly because there's another bit to this as well that Romano's been talking about. But before we do, obviously, I'd like to come to the chats. Let's get the morning chats in. 1,200 in the room already. Absolutely buzzing. Love that, everyone. Get your comments in. Please get your likes in as well, everyone. Let's get that up over 500 for this show as well. Saturday morning football is back this weekend. Jam-packed fixture list. We are doing a watch-along later. Don't forget, 12:30 on YouTube on Football Talks. Please do click the link that's in the description. Some of the mods will put it in the live chat as well, or scan the QR code bottom right-hand corner and subscribe to Football Talks. Join the watch-along, our debut watch-along on YouTube later on, everybody. Andrew says, with a super chat, my birthday today, can we beat Liverpool? Hooray, 72. Andrew, I said it before, mate, you absolute legend. Just don't worry about football for the weekend. In fact, take yourself away, mate. Don't let it stress you out. I know you're going to watch it. I know what I'm saying right now is just going to go on deaf ears because you are mad red. And you are well and truly one of them old school United fans who've been there, seen it all. The doom, the gloom, the glory, and then back to where we are right now. And you describe whatever you want. You describe it however you want, mate, in terms of what we're watching right now. But it does feel like it's the worst it's been for a lot of fans. But again, happy birthday, mate. Greg, who has just renewed his membership as well. Thank you, Greg. 5 months a member. Legend. Happy New Year, everyone. A big year for the club, 2025. Hope everyone can look beyond the short term because I believe things will happen for us. I'm with you, mate. I'm with you, and this is why it's really important right now that we're talking about Ruben Amorim and this reaction he's going to get from players. The culture is changing at United, and I think it's changing quickly. Mark Harris with another super chat. Thank you. The players have down tools, sacked a lot of them. He's going right in on the brutal end there, isn't he? Let's get into some more of the chats, actually, as well. David says, can't sell big earning players who are rubbish, but lower down wages players are sold. They are keeping United above relegated zone. In terms of, no, I disagree. I mean, I'm just pinning up the watch-along chat in there right now, just on Kaz's. By the way, Kaz has just become a gold member. That was today. 12 months a member, sorry. I can't help but do that. I'll sing that song when I see gold member come up. Classic. Fergie wouldn't stand for this nonsense. Half of the players would be gone in January. If Fergie was manager, he'd play the reserves and the youngsters over those overpaid brats. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there would have been something happen with Fergie. It definitely wouldn't have happened with him. But going back to the previous comment as well from David, in terms of selling the overpaid. Look, this is where the Osimhen and Rashford thing comes in and why I've made a big point about this being a massive push from United to bring Osimhen in. I mean, everybody probably seen the headlines or watched it even last night with Gyökeres, again, another hat-trick for Sporting, first game of 2025. He's hit the ground run. He's carried on where he left off in 24. A hat-trick again for him. He just looks like the real deal. There is going to be that sort of nagging sort of bring me in here sort of feeling for Manchester United. Hold off on Osimhen. Don't go for him. Get Gyökeres in the summer. There is that. That's just going to be there for Ruben Amorim and Manchester United, I think. He is an awesome striker. He really is. But, again, like David said there in the chat, if you're looking at what Manchester United have to do and what is needed right now, the most important thing is getting Marcus Rashford out of this football club. Nothing else matters at all right now. That is top priority. Fabrizio Romano has actually come out on his YouTube channel and said himself last night that the situation with Marcus Rashford and Ruben Amorim is not rectified. It's not sorted. And I've said this before, whatever Ruben Amorim says to the cameras or whatever he says to the mainstream media, just take it with a pinch of salt. He's saying it for the sake of saying it. He's saying it because he has to. And what is going on behind the scenes is that there is nothing sorted. He wants rid of Marcus Rashford. And in the words of Fabrizio Romano, who has to put it a little bit more politically and politely than what I would, as if I would just say, get your ass out of the club right now, Manchester United are looking to sell Rashford. That's come from Fabrizio Romano's mouth. So anyone who's clinging on to the thought that Rashford was surviving, Rashford could have a chance, look, Romano has come out and said it now. When are you going to realise that this relationship is completely broken down? When you are out for 6 straight games in a row, then you are obviously bottom of the pecking order and an issue. He has said it. How many times has Ruben Amorim said it? He's called him out every time. Without calling his name, he said, look, if you want to train him, it's the same as it is for every other player. It's not just Marcus Rashford. He says it every time. Every single player has to stick to, well, not so much the rules, but has to want it. Has to be part of it, part of the project. If you're not willing to put more in and be that man and be that leader, like he said yesterday in his press conference, or like be that right, or have the right attitude, you don't stand a chance. You don't. And Rashford doesn't, because he doesn't want to get involved. Anchor with the super chats. I think we will lose these games, but it's not. It's okay. I hope the players get smacked out of this club. I like that one. Well said, mate. Well said, my friend. That midfield needs to provide service to Rasmus. Wingbacks are not putting any crosses in the box. Probably because the wingbacks are not in that position already, to be honest. Ruben is the immovable rock. Yes, he is indeed, mates. He is indeed. Quickly later on as well, we are doing, I think we're going to be doing another show on FUTV Live here on YouTube as well, before the watch along, so I could give you more information on that anyway. But I just want you to all be subscribed and ready to go for the watch along later. We are going to have a bit of fun with it. It is our first one, so make sure that you're there, please. I've got Rashford on the back of 2 of my shirts and Casemiro on 1. I make such good choices in life, says Block. Look, mate, you are basically, I think you jinxed it. I think that's anything that Block gets on his shirt at the start of every season, everybody, will make him come on, put it in the live chat, and then we know who is going to have a shocker of a season. Yeah, I think that's the way it goes. I think at Manchester United right now, like, we cling on to hope for one player and he completely lets us down. Anything that we have got hope-wise for any players at this football club, I just feel right now we just need to forget about it, because they are continuously going to let us down. And until Ruben Amorim gets to grips with it, and I think the big point about this show is, and like what I'm saying now with Ruben getting grips with it, I think it's a case of Garnacho seeing sense and moving away from this fallout scenario and why he's being moved on. I think it's got to come down to, and I think the way the club are pushing it out, and I do believe that information has been given to Chris Wheeler as well on this, because he was talking about other things as well yesterday. But I think the club are pushing this out as to say Garnacho isn't a problem. It's been rectified. There was a discipline issue on the sideline. He's learnt from it. And I think this is like a... you can shoot me down if you think I'm wrong here on this, but I think there's a bigger plot to this. I think they are trying to make these players look better than what they are right now, for selling purposes. It's like, for instance, yesterday, Rashford. If he's ill, it just means that he can't train. It looks better than him not being in the squad because he can't be arsed training. Because let's be honest, Ruben has made that clear right now in what he said. If the players aren't willing to put the effort in and be the best of themselves and train hard and work hard, then they're not going to be in the squad. If that continues and everybody knows that Rashford is training, but obviously he's not training well, then they're going to think, what is wrong with this guy? And we're never going to be able to move him on. Especially on them wages, it's going to be a waste for anyone. So I think the fact that it's been said that he is ill, again, I think there's an angle on that. And the fact that this news has come out about Garnacho and him turning his back on Ruben Amorim, walking away from him, that is disastrous for him. That is stupid. Then that now being put to bed, him back in training and making appearances makes him look better. It's been dealt with, a misunderstanding. I think the report has come out from both sides now. So this is what Ruben thought. It probably was the truth. This is what Garnacho's people have said. This is just to actually make it look a little better than what it actually is. And it actually makes Garnacho look like he's not a complete and utter, let's just say, arrogant tit in thinking that he could walk into United's side. And he is sellable. And he is worth the money because he has done good at United. He has got qualities. He's a full-on international at Argentina right now as well. So, really, I think this is all a push us to say that things are okay with these players and we are actually looking to sell them to the right bidders because the football side of things and the style just isn't suiting Ruben Amorim, and that's the only reason why these players are being sold. They will work well in another football club, in other words. I think that's the push from this and the media push on it. We have over 1,700 in the room. Thank you, everybody. Only 230 likes. What's going on? Like the video, everybody, please. Come on, we should be up at least 500 likes by now. Everyone, please like the video. Make sure you have subscribed as well. On the march to 70k, everyone. Into the comments section we go. You need to be subscribed to get into the comments, so please do. Have your say. MA has said that. It makes me sad that the club has been run so badly financially that the fan base have to work out our PSR financial fair play implications when buying and selling players. We just want to watch the team win. I get everything you're saying there, mate. I'm a bit of a geek with it, though, and I do like talking about it a lot. As you've probably seen on many shows, like I do like the rules. I like to find out what's going on behind the scenes, what's coming up, how football is changing. I just love it. But I get what you mean. It's like the club has been run badly. The club's financial state is disastrous, and we as fans are having to work out certain things like, sure, we can't loan him out. We've got to be getting money in because we need to replace him. And all of that conversation comes out. We just want a club to be able to be run, and this is what I think MA is getting at. Just run like you should run as a proper football club, a giant, a juggernaut of the footballing world, like everyone sees us as, from the outside anyway. And we can just enjoy watching the football because you've done everything else right. But the ineptitude and the way that the club has been run makes us all start talking about other things like we are doing because it has been absolute dog shit, hasn't it? It really has. And now we're stuck here trying to figure out how this transfer window is going to work, which takes us on to the next story, actually. And the fact that we talked yesterday about Joshua Zirkzee, Damasio, and everything that was going on with the so-called Manchester United willing to loan out Joshua Zirkzee. Juventus definitely want to loan Joshua Zirkzee. United want to put the obligation in where they will buy Joshua Zirkzee at the end of the season, Juventus. So United pretty much making their stance clear, according to Damasio, saying that they want to sell Zirkzee. Then we heard the news regarding, obviously, Marcus Rashford and everything else that was going on at Manchester United yesterday with a press conference. But the Malacia one went under the radar. So Juventus actually looking to take both Malacia and Joshua Zirkzee from Manchester United on loan. That I just don't... I've said this before, and I may be going over old ground here again a little bit, but I've said this with Zirkzee in particular, with us not having many forwards. If Zirkzee goes, Rashford goes, Osimhen has to come in. We need another forward. We desperately need a forward. And I cannot see United moving Anthony on because of that. And honestly, right now, like, Anthony is a left-footed player. He's a left footer. Right now, we're running out of left-footed players. I'm thinking one of our options right now is Anthony at left wing-back. Just play him on his natural side and see what happens. That's where I'm at, because Malacia, honestly, I don't understand why we would want to get rid of Malacia. And for other reasons that I explained, only for other reasons that I explained, which were there's been a massive fallout again. Going back to the start of the video, not just Garnacho, not just Rashford, I think there are other players within Manchester United that have just not hit the headlines, and I've seen other content creators from other football clubs talking about Rashford, why Luke Shaw isn't getting isn't getting the stick that Marcus Rashford is for what Luke Shaw did on social media. I think Luke Shaw has had a lot of stick for what he did on social media with Molly-made TikToks and all of that garbage. I don't even want to get into it. It's not my bag, and I really don't care. Get fit, get on the pitch, otherwise sling your hook. That's all I'll say about him. Anyway, not a good look, as many people have said. And yeah, read the room, Luke. For God's sake, what is wrong with these players? But when you look at Malacia, for instance, I don't know who else, because Dalot can't play on the left. I think it's been proven in 10 games now with Ruben Amorim. He's struggling to sell Dalot. To move Malacia on loan. You're not going to get much. You're not going to get much from him even if you sold him. So let's just look at it this way. Malacia will get you, if he's sold, an obligation fee of maybe 5 to 10 million at the end of the season from Juve. Same with Zirkzee, 20 million, something like that at the end of the season, 25 million. So you maybe scrape 30 million together for two young players, which Juventus will buy, and I think will fit in well in Italy in Serie A. But United can't do anything right now. There has to be something happening elsewhere. There has to be some money elsewhere. We talked yesterday about what the cuts had saved Ineos and how much money was raised in doing what they did and what they have done so far. That was reportedly between 40 to 45 million, whether or not that goes into the kitty. Will United get loan fees for any of these players to bring that money up? To maybe get to a point where we can spend around about 40 to 50 million for Mendes, because according to reports last night as well, after we did what we did in Mendes' contract talks breaking down, it does seem like PSG have seen their ass and they are standing their ground with the valuation. They know that United desperately need to be bringing a left-sided defensive player in. They know they need a left wing-back. And this now, I think, because PSG would have looked into the situation with what United are doing, looking at the injury list of the players, looking at them possibly moving Malacia on, and they want to take advantage of that right now, and United's need now more than anything. So their stance is they're going to stand by their price. I think it is between 40 and 50 million for Mendes. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's a good player, but that is a massive chunk of money. All of the heartache, all of everything that we're doing with these cuts, all for one player. It seems like it's not enough. But again, it's going towards, for me, I think, Ineos proving a point as to we will go above and beyond to run this club a certain way to get the best happening on the pitch. If you are going to say it's all based on football is going to be at the forefront of our ownership and our sporting control of this football club, then everything that you do off the pitch has to be geared towards on it. And this is what I believe has to be happening, because you cannot get rid of Malacia if you're not bringing in another player. You can't. Dalot is struggling. He needs to be on the right as cover on that side. At best, cover for left wing back. You need someone in on that left-hand side. Leon isn't coming in until August. Harry Amas is going out on loan, possibly to Leicester, which is great for him. There's no one else there. I would prefer Mazraoui to be there, but again, just get a left-footed player in. And I think this is the push. Rashford for Osimhen. I think that's what happens if Zirkzee goes. I think if Malacia goes, that money that we've saved, or money that we can make, which I'm going to talk about in a minute from other players being sold, has to go towards that left wing back. Otherwise, we are completely screwed. I just don't see it. I think Graham made the point yesterday when he said, look, you can only get rid of players that they need replacing. Yeah, I said it the stream we did before last night's stream. You can only take players out of Manchester United if you're bringing replacements in. At the end of the day, you need a team to put out on the pitch. And as much as we want all of these players out, we do need to have someone to play. And this is the point I was making. These are the players right now. I'm going to run through the list. The ones that we definitely know, I've got concrete talks from sources from United or other clubs looking in on moving away from United. Obviously, we've got Rashford. Then you're looking at Zirkzee, Malacia now from that. We'll leave Garnacho and Dalot out of this, and we'll just concentrate on the definites. Lindelof, Eriksson, there's 5. Bayende, there's 6. We're now hearing about Toby Collier on loan, so you could say there's another first-team option for United, 7. Did I say Casemiro? I think I did say Casemiro, didn't I? Casemiro there. So you're on 6 or 7 there. Harry Amas. So reality tells us that Manchester United are looking to move on, or we've actually in talks this month alone for 7 or 8 players moving out of the football club. And all of them players, barring Harry and Mass, have contributed to Manchester United's first team this season. And whether or not you think they've contributed enough, or if they are a main part of United, or the quality of the starting 11, it does not matter. Each player plays his part, and if Ruben wants to rotate and keep people fresh, you can't get rid of that many players. You can't. So it'll be, I think, a scenario where we've got 7 or 8, and maybe 2 or 3 of them, 7 or 8, will definitely be gone this month. On loan or sold on, one way or the other. I reckon we will lose about 3 players. Maybe 4 if you're looking at the academy players. Because I can bring Harry and Mass into that. I don't think Collier will go unless Casemiro stays. Personal opinion. We are lacking in numbers in midfield. I don't feel like with the way that Ruben wants to operate, and like I just said, with rotating and keeping players fresh, you are going to need an element of quality within that squad as well to keep it freshened up. So I don't see Collier going if Casemiro stays. I'd see Collier going if Casemiro stays and vice versa. But I honestly just look at it and go, there has to be a left wing back coming in. There has to be something with the Mendes story. There has to be something with someone else coming in if Malacia is going to leave anyway, because it's pretty drastic there. But moving on to what Romano said as well regarding Casemiro. Now, he went into detail on Casemiro and said that obviously the situation in the summer was that there was offers there and there was interest from Saudi Arabia. The deal could not be done for obvious reasons, but this is definitely one to watch, Romano has said. Let's see what happens now in the next couple of weeks in the transfer window with Casemiro, because there is a definite sort of will for Casemiro to want to be out of Manchester United. I mean, we don't need to be told that. We can see it from what we're watching. We can see how Ruben Amorim is operating and what he's doing with these players. And we can see the ones that clearly have fallen out with him regarding their playing time. I think it's there for everyone to see personally. Casemiro and what we could get for him, that's a different story altogether. I think that will go a long way to bringing in the left wing back. I've said that before as well. But I think Casemiro is important for United right now for more ways than one. Squad depth, and could really be the key to bringing in someone significant in this month. Rashford is taken care of one way or another. We cannot use Rashford's sale or moving him on to bring in a left wing back. United will have to subsidise wages and send him out on loan with an obligation or something if we don't manage to get a swap deal with Osimhen. So Rashford's tied up in his situation. Joshua Zirkzee, we're not going to get any money for him, or Malacia. Casemiro is vital. If we can get money for Casemiro, maybe get money for Lindelof, Eriksen, or maybe loan fees for any of these players, drag what we can get together. And like I said before, then the money that Ineos have saved with all of the cuts that they've been doing, maybe that's how Manchester United can get the deals done. Into the chat we go on all of that. There's been loads of comments coming. I've just been reading a few quickly on the side there as I've been talking. 40 million compared to a mediocre Rasmus was 72 million and 85 million for useless Antony. This is where we're actually at right now. The targets United are looking at are actually valuable because we've got a football structure in and United will get the right price. It just goes to show again from the chat that we had earlier on about how poorly Manchester United have been run. Like we would look back on some of the signings that have been made now and go, how the hell are we surviving? Like, what was going on at Manchester United back then? Because right now it does look like we're going to be bidding the right type of prices for players as well. Garnacho, a legend, give me a break. Do you know what a legend means? Someone answering someone else in the chat there. There's an argument and the debate will go on about Garnacho forever and a day. Look, I don't think anyone's getting carried away. Although, like I said last night, some people actually would liken him to being our next Messi. And fans couldn't believe at the stadium when I was talking to him about him being one of the players that is leaving or up for sale. Rashford is no legend. I don't know who said that. We could just not turn up at Anfield, let them win 3-0. May help us in goal difference. And let Amorim have extra time with the lads at Carrington. Looking at these overrated prima donnas are about to burn another manager. I don't think they will, you know. I really don't think they will. Almac says, Alvaro Fernandez is only 16 million. Can we afford Nuno Mendes for 40 million? Well, only Ineos can answer that question. We will see, won't we, mates? But I get it. Like, Alvaro could be the one that just answers all of the questions here. He could be the player that just comes in It's going to be one left-sided player. They need to make a decision. I actually thought that, you know what, we'll go into the summer and probably look at the right left wing back. It does look now that United are looking to bring in their long-term left wing back in the window this January. And Leon will come in the summer. I think we'll have ample cover on that side then. And then I think that's the angle for United. The actual player that we thought was going to be brought in the summer is now going to be brought in January. That's what United's push is. And what Ruben Amorim was saying yesterday, by all accounts from other journalists and reports, is when we are trying to do something in the market, like Ruben said, it's all on Manchester United getting a left wing back. That's the push. Would you take a snow day cancellation for Liverpool away? That's a poll running right now. Get involved in that. 57% of people have said yes. I would never take a day off. I would never bail out on a game. Get out there and just earn your spot in that Man United side. Wear that shirt with pride and show us that you actually do care. If anything, right now, as a fan, I want to see these players walk out at Anfield. If they get absolutely smashed to pieces again, it will just convince me even more that this squad is not good enough. And we'll see who goes hiding. That's one thing we'll take from this again. Ruben Amorim laying down the law and Ruben Amorim doing everything that we've got at Manchester United at the moment and like outing these players, highlighting these players. I think this is what everybody needs to see, and it will go a long way to helping his cause if we do get smashed by Liverpool tomorrow and these players down tools and don't look like they want to be there. Look, it could completely go the other way. There could be a massive reaction from the Ruben Amorim team tomorrow out there at Anfield. You just don't know. I would never ditch a game, no. Over 2,000 in the room on a Saturday morning. I love that. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV, please, as well. Give the video a like. We're creeping up to that 500 live like mark. As many as we possibly can. Let's go for it, everybody. We're right into the chat now, so get your points across. Anything you want to shoot me down on, question me on, or get off your chest, get into the chat right now, please, everybody. None of the four previous managers like Jose, Oli, Ranić, Ten Hag was able to do a reform of the culture and instill discipline, and get rid of players. Amorim is the only one who dare to oppose this. He is, and this is what we need to get behind. There was time where Rashford was one of the best left wingers in the world, so keep quiet. Quite about what, mate? If you're arguing with someone about Rashford and what he was, then your argument is dead, I'm afraid, because he's threw it all away, having been given everything by the football club. I think this is the point that people are making right now. If you want to go down nostalgia road and talk about what Rashford was, that's fine, but it does not hold up in the argument for what he's doing now, because it's 20 times worse. He has threw this club under the bus and disrespected this club after it gave him everything. And that is unforgivable. I'm sorry on that argument. If I'm butting in, please, please just tell me to leave off or don't get involved. But I just picked up on that comment there, and I thought if anyone is fighting the corner of Marcus Rashford right now, you deserve props for trying. I'll give you that. But there is nothing there that can actually, for me, defend Rashford and what he's done with his football club. Why not try the Ruben Anthony as left wing back? I think I just mentioned this, Benny, actually. He's a left-sided player. He's probably one of the only left footers we've got in the side, but for some reason we persist in playing him on the bleeding right-hand side. I don't get it. I don't get it. Works hard, works back, attacking player. Eddie Howe did something similar with Joe Linton at Newcastle, and look at him. Look, I feel like there is a player that can be utilised in Anthony. He's never going to be the player going forward. By the way, Fabrizio Romano has said that Manchester United have put things in motion to try and move Anthony on as well. So you could add him to that list that we were talking. So you could actively say there is double figures. There's over 10 players that United have been linked to moving on now. This January alone. So how many of them do move on? But Romano has said yes, United are looking to move Anthony on. Just no concrete offer has come in yet. Obviously, they're looking to move Casemiro on as well. When we say we need a reset, I just wish it would have happened. I wish all of this talk was going on in the summer. And I know Ineos did get rid of 17 players in the summer, but there are some big hitters now that are seen to be being pushed out of the door at United. It needed to happen in the summertime just to give whoever was in charge a chance. I just so wish that they'd sacked Ten Hag in the summer and brought Ruben Amorim in then. We wouldn't even be talking in this tone right now about worrying about a game at Anfield. Yeah, we'd be looking at it and worrying, but we wouldn't be worried about walking into Anfield and getting smashed 7-0 again, which a lot of United fans are right now. Sell them all except Yoro, Agate and Mazraoui. Surely there's more on that list, isn't there? Yes, you get... what's that? Yes, you can get of these players... Malacia, Dalot, Ericsson. We need cash for new players. Ruben is doing a shoot himself in the foot if he doesn't overload midfield. I do think midfield is key for us against Liverpool tomorrow. I agree with that. The latest Ferrari cost 5 million. How can these players get by? Where's that gone? How can these players get by on 300k a week? No wonder they're upset. I would be. A super chat in from a block says, thank you, matey. Osimhen or Mendes, if Rashi went the other way, pick one. I don't think we can do 2 big deals in January. It depends, doesn't it? Like I said. And that's an option if that is our only option. We'd have to decide between which player in what position, obviously. But when you're looking at what we desperately need, look, if there is money there and we can bring Osimhen in and Mendes in one window, then we have worked miracles. We really have. That would be one of United's best ever January transfer windows. I just feel like right now, United are... I think... And like I go back to what I just said. Like I just wish that this was what was happening in the summer, but if anything, it goes to show how much work is needed at Manchester United, how much has had to have been done in the summer to get to where we are now. The only one decision that they ballsed up in the summer was keeping Erik Ten Hag. It's as simple as that. Like everything would have been moved in a different direction right now, and United would be better off. If we can bring in Mendes and Davies in the summer, we will at least challenge for top 4. Davies is not coming. That's off now. Just for anybody, he's going to be signing with Bayern Munich. United have cooled interest in Alphonso Davies. We won't be talking about him again. That is done. We are moving on to other targets. It does look like Mendes is top. You've got Kirkes possibly in the summer. If it doesn't happen, United actively looking to bring the left wing back in now tells me that it is all in on Mendes. And that is the main transfer target for this window. We talk about Rashford because where are the league titles he should have won these past 10 years? According to the club, he's a valuable asset. He's not. He's valuable in that we could possibly get money off him right now, not for Ruben Amorim. And our manager, going back to what I said at the top of the show and how important it is of what is happening at United right now. Yes, it may be bad on the pitch. United may be looking at the relegation zone rather than the top 4. But what Ruben Amorim has done, he's installed this discipline within Manchester United where these players are no longer getting away with it. And if you look back and say, oh, how can we be doing this? We need Garnacho. We need Marcus Rashford. Well, what have they done and won over the last few years? You can talk about the cups, yes, and they probably did contribute in a way to them, but still, is it enough for Manchester United? If you're wanting to challenge, like Ineos said, for the title, for the Champions League, like what Ruben Amorim said, he doesn't care about the cups. It's the Premier League. We need to be winning the Premier League. If you are looking at that, then these big decisions need to be made. That's what we're looking at, and I think that's the main thing to take from this, more than anything, I feel. I kind of think we're heading in the direction, regardless who was the manager. All right, we're heading this direction, regardless of who the manager was. I get that, Ray, but I think Ruben Amorim is the first one to actually just face it front on and just go at it and try and sort the problem out. Amorim looks at everything except how he sets up his team or how the opposition will play. That's completely wrong, Brett, because he talks about the opposition and setting the team up. It's not, again, like people are ignoring the fact that Ruben Amorim has come out and said it's not just a 3-4-3. The formation changes in game constantly. It's the attitude and application that he's got a problem with. It's not the formation. It's not the system. People keep droning on about this system. I was listening to Talk Sport again midday, and you all know who's on midday on Talk Sport, and they just don't watch United. They don't know what's going on. And you're listening to them, and this is going out on national radio, and everyone's thinking the same thing, and this whole narrative is being driven that Ruben Amorim is too stubborn to change his system because it's the only one he's got. If you are a manager of Manchester United, how can you only have one way, one system? You've got to be able to adapt and change. He has got more than one way. The formation and the system changes continuously in-game. It works at different stages. He works out the opposition and what he has to do. And yes, these players just are struggling to adapt to doing multiple things at the moment. And this is why we're having a go at them. If you're professional footballers and you're in at Manchester United and you cannot adapt, you do not belong at this football club. And this is the approach I think Ruben Amorim is taking right now. And you have to get behind that more than anything, I think. I think it's important that we remember that he isn't just messing things up with his system. It's the players that cannot adapt to the change. And I've listened to it on multiple podcasts right now. Former player podcast. I think there was I can't remember the name of it, but the Lineker, Micah Richards and Alan Shearer one. I was listening to that. So I was listening, even a clip from the Joey Barton podcast talking about it and everything. And it's like most of them just, when they're talking about it and talking about the system, they talk about the formation. And does he need to change it? Does he just need to get through till the end of the season? Was this not the message that everybody was bitching and moaning about every single season under Ten Hag? Like, why has he abandoned his system right now? And nearly all of them in these podcasts have just said, look, he has to stick to it. Otherwise, he's given up. And then what is the point of having a future at Manchester United if you've already given up to what the issue was already? That the players just cannot cope with it. They're not willing to cope with it. They're not good enough to cope with it. All of that, whichever way you want to look at it, is the bigger problem at United right now. And it's going to take someone with some serious kahunas and balls to stand there and take what's coming. And I think we've got the right man in there. We do have Ruben Amorim in place right now, and I think he needs to stay there no matter what happens this season, even worst case scenario. Because if he gets his players in, then we are going to be a different animal altogether. Let it play out is what I say. Let it play out with Amorim and let's see exactly what happens. But just going back to the main points at the top of the show for anyone who's just joined us, we have over 2,000 still in the room. That's mega. Please hit the subscribe button, everybody. Make sure you get the likes in. We're about to hit 600 live likes, which is epic. Thank you, everyone. Garnacho and the story that we brought out about 3 weeks ago about him having a discipline issue on the sideline before coming on has turned out to be true. It's been reported that it was at the Victoria Pilsen game where he turned his back and walked away on Ruben Amorim as he was giving him instructions before he came on off the bench, and that's why he was dropped for the Manchester derby. Garnacho's people have come out and said that was just a misunderstanding. They've tried to sort of quash the idea of a big fallout. There is no rift between the two. He's alright. Garnacho is back in training and we are just concentrating on Garnacho hopefully getting his form back or contributing some other way. It's not because of discipline that he's not playing. It's because he's just not good enough at the moment, which is good for us in two ways. I explained before, maybe if United want to move him on, they're putting these stories out to make it clear that there is no rift and there is no aggro between players, therefore making it easier to sell players on. And I think it's the same with Marcus Rashford. Romano has come out and said that the issue between Rashford and Amorim is far from resolved and nowhere near comfortable right now at Manchester United. So I think everyone who has been trying to build up the whole narrative that Rashford has been this model professional since he's been dropped, that has been completely blown out the water by what Ruben Amorim said in his press conference yesterday and what Fabrizio Romano said tonight. Rashford is ill and not training. It sounds better than Rashford is training and not being picked because he's shit. So that's where I think we're at right now with that. United will sell Xerxes and Malacia in obligation loans to Juventus if they're willing to put that obligation loan stipulation into the contracts. And United are actively trying to move on Casemiro and Antony, with Mendes being the main target to come in. And we obviously know about Osimhen and the Rashford swap deal as well. That is you fully up to date with everything you need to know about United right now. I will be back later, of course, before the watch along on Football Talks. Please hit the subscribe button on FUTV and on Football Talks for the watch along later. It is our debut watch along here on YouTube for there on that channel. Make sure you're there. The Spurs-Newcastle game, we're starting at around about 12:15, so make sure that you're there, everybody. And yeah, I will see you all later on. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for all the contributors, mods and members helping out in the chat. As always, you are absolutely legends. And yeah, we'll be back later on. Have a fantastic Saturday, everybody, and stay safe in that nasty weather. See you in a bit.